Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Karla and I have another bake and chit chat for you guys today. So yes, we're going to do another dessert that is very a classic dessert recipe, which is peach cobbler. And this peach cobbler is going to be very simple and very easy. And I know you guys say I say that all the time, but I promise you, this recipe is so easy. Your 9-year-old will be able to make a peach cobbler and it tastes delicious. So I'm excited to share this with you. I'm gonna just make some coffee real quick. So I can just have some coffee while I'm cooking, and then we can chit chat about some things, you know, have those talks and just kind of talk about life in general. So yeah, I hope everybody's doing okay. There's been a lot going on, so it's just a lot with everything starting to reopen now, and people are going to be getting out, and I'm still trying to decide, you know, what I should do or shouldn't do because I want to be safe. So yeah, so let's get started on this wonderful, yummy peach cobbler. Okay, so before I start, I always like to wash my hands because I think that's really important. This peach cobbler will give you a lot of options as far as how sweet you want it, and so you can kind of make some modifications based on that. Start with the peaches. We're going to just use peaches in the can, and the only ones I ever use is the Monte brand. It has to be sliced peaches, and it has to be yellow clean in heavy syrup. Okay, it can't be the Freestone peaches or the, well, it can be if you want. Maybe you like that, but I just know it has to be this particular kind and this particular brand. So you can use 3 small cans, or if they have the larger cans, you can use 1 large can. Okay, and so if you want to make a larger peach cobbler or smaller, you can adjust that. But we're going to do 3 cans of peaches. Okay, you need 1 stick of butter. I like Land O'Lakes butter. You need cinnamon, nutmeg, vanilla, baker's joy, sugar. I have about 3/4 of a cup of sugar, but you may want yours more sweet or less sweet. So it's really to taste. But we're going to start with 3/4 cup, and then you can make those adjustments before you actually bake it. You're going to need Pirate's pie crust. I usually get the deep dish one, and get 2 packages because you don't want to run out of crust. And so each package has 2 pie crusts inside, and so get 2 of these packages. So that gives you a total of 4 that you can use to slice it up. Okay. Well, before I get started, guys, I'm gonna start wearing an apron when I bake. How about that? I bought a new apron at Target. And I bought some pot holders, and it matched my kitchen. So I'm gonna put on my new apron today because I'm so excited. I just think it's so cute and so whatever. So yeah, this is what it looks like. Isn't that cute? It is so cute. So yeah, I'm gonna wear this apron. Okay, this is 2. Okay. Let me put this on, get situated here. Okay. Look like I'm a real chef, huh? Okay, so look at me. Out of my little apron and everything, and I'm gonna show you my pot holders that match and go with it. So I just thought this was just so cute. I think I may kind of want to make my own line of aprons with my own sayings on them. Anyway, that's something down the road. But yeah, so I'm sorry, y'all get excited about the littlest thing, and it has pockets. Okay, and so my pot holders match. So when I'm taking my stuff out the oven, I look all coordinated. So anyway, so let's get back to baking this peach cobbler. Okay, so yeah, let's get going. So before we get started, go ahead and preheat your oven to 375. So first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to add the peaches, pour them in the bowl. It's so much easier when you have one large can. That's why I prefer the larger. The next thing that I like to do is add my butter. So I take a stick of butter, and before I add it to this, I melt my butter in a bowl in the microwave, which I've already done. So you pour in your melted butter, stir that up. It's already smelling delicious. Like, this is so easy, you guys. The next thing that I'm going to add is a little bit of vanilla. Again, I'm creating my recipe as I go. Like I said, I just pour in some, so I got to figure out what the actual measurement's going to be. So I know I put in probably about a teaspoon. Yeah, so a teaspoon of vanilla. And I do a little bit of cinnamon. Let's do it by shakes. How about that? So that was about 5 shakes of cinnamon. I know this is not appropriate for a recipe, so you really want more of a recipe. So 5 shakes of this is probably about 1/4 of a teaspoon of cinnamon. Nutmeg, I don't do as much. So maybe like just a little hint. Okay. Then I'm going to add my sugar. I have 3/4 of a cup of sugar. But what I like to do is I like to add my sugar a little bit at a time, because sometimes, depending on the peaches in the can, some cans are sweeter than others. Like, it's not always the same level of sweetness because it's already in this syrup. So you don't want to just dump all your sugar in there and then it's too sweet. Because sometimes you get a can of peaches that are bitter, and then sometimes they're a lot sweeter. So it just varies. It's best just to kind of test it out as you go. So I'm going to do, this is 3/4 of a cup, but I'm just going to do about half of that to see if it's sweet enough for me. Because you have to sample and see how it's going to taste. So what you want to do is taste this liquid. And however this liquid tastes is how your peach cobbler is going to taste. So if this liquid isn't sweet enough, add more sugar. If it needs a little more cinnamon, a little more nutmeg, you know what peach cobbler should taste like. So you taste it, and it's based on how you want your peach cobbler to taste, okay? So let me try this and see. This is definitely bitter. So that means these peaches are a lot more bitter than I normally am used to. And so, like I was saying, you have to really just kind of see, because sometimes it's sweeter. So I'm going to add more sugar because I wanted a little bit more on the sweeter side. I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of this. And that's probably going to be the perfect amount for this cobbler. Or maybe not. I may have to add a little bit more sugar. Now let's taste this. Rinse my spoon off. Okay, so I'm going to taste this again. That's delicious. Okay, so now that we have our mixture all yummy and tastes just like we want it, we're going to set this aside, and we're going to now do our crust. So you're going to need a glass baking dish like this, okay, or 3-quart glass baking dish, cutting board, your knife, and you're going to start cutting your pie crust and putting it into the glass dish. So Before I put my crust in the bottom of the pan, I'm going to spray it with a little Baker's Joy so that the crust will not stick. Okay. I'm going to take my pie crust like this, and I'm going to just basically slice it into little strips. They will be about an inch wide. I'm just going to cut these little strips like this. Can you see that? And you're laying it in the bottom of your baking dish. Okay. So yeah, so let's just chit chat while I layer this pan. So guys, what do you guys think about the reopening of these businesses? You think it's time to open up? I mean, there are a lot of people who are out of work, and you know, I do understand that people want to get back to their lives, but at the same time, we have to keep our families safe. And I think for me, I'm just going to kind of lay low for a while and still just do things that are necessary until we really know what's going on, because I don't, you know, there's a lot we don't know about this virus. So I just hope that all of you guys are okay and you're doing okay, and that you have not been affected, you know, too badly by it, because I know there are a lot of people out here, you know, suffering. And you know, one thing I can say about this whole situation is that a lot of times things get revealed and things come out in the open when we have situations like this. So for some people, they've discovered some truths that they didn't know, some things that, you know, were not very positive. And some people's marriages are in trouble, relationships, some people's mental health is at risk right now, depression, anxiety, and there's a lot of things going on. And what I'll say to that, and how I have been able to kind of get through it, is I just believe that everything happens, you know, for a reason. And I think that no matter what happens, you always need to find the silver lining in every situation if you can. And the silver lining is, how can I grow from this and how can I get better from this? And sometimes things need to be revealed. Sometimes things need the truth will need to come out, period. I mean, you just got to know that God is in control. And as long as you trust him and you believe him and you know he's thinking about you and he has your best interest at heart, then you don't worry, you don't stress as much. And just trusting God is the key to everything in life. And you know, a couple years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Some of you may know I'm a breast cancer survivor. And it was a horrible time for me. It was horrible in terms of, you know, I was about to get married. It just was a time in my life where it just seemed like it just turned everything upside down. But what I did is I just turned to God and I said, you know what? I don't know why this is happening to me, but it is happening to me. And because it's happening to me, I'm going to face it head on. I'm going to trust you. I'm going to grow. I'm going to become stronger because of it. And because of my breast cancer, because that happened to me, it basically launched me into a whole nother realm of life and of living and of purpose. I got more peace. I became more passionate and I have more purpose because of that diagnosis. Had that not happened, I would probably just not even be doing this YouTube channel. And so after I was diagnosed with breast cancer and got through all of that, I wanted to tell my story. So I ended up writing a book called Peace, Passion, and Purpose. And I wrote this book because I wanted to share my story. The breast cancer wasn't the only thing that I went through. I went through a lot of things. You know, I've been through divorce. I've been through a lot of things. My book will tell the whole story. It will tell you my life story. And so out of the breast cancer came a book that I wrote. And then after I wrote my book, and this is not to brag at all. This is not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to say that because something that seemed so terrible happened to me, it was for purpose. God had a plan for me. And I took that, instead of letting it tear me down, I decided to make the most of it. And so then I decided to do this channel because I want to help people to understand that having a life filled with peace, passion, and purpose, you can have that. It's a choice. And the choice is basically just deciding that you're going to live your best life. You're going to live an honest life. You're going to be authentic. And you're going to just do right by people, trust God. And when things happen to you that seem like, oh, this is not fair, why me? Decide to take it and make it something great. Make it better. And so that's what I want to say about basically, you know, just the things that are going on. I don't know what you guys are going through. I don't know if you've lost someone, you've lost a job, but just know that whatever pain you're feeling and whatever despair that you're feeling, you take that feeling and you turn it into something positive. Whatever that is, dive into something you love, start a new hobby, or you know, just whatever it is that you want to do, but just figure out who you are and what you want out of life. We only have one life, and we need to live the best life without worrying about what other people think about you and what they're gonna say. And you just gotta just decide that, you know, you're going to be happy. And so yeah, so anyway, I'm done with my little preaching for today. And let's finish this peach cobbler. So we're going to put the pie crust in the bottom like this, okay? Then you're going to take your mixture that you have and you're just going to pour that into the pan. Okay. Spread it out. You're going to lay your crust on top. However much crust you want. And some people like crust inside the cobbler. I think sometimes if you put too much crust in here, it's going to absorb all the juice and your cobbler will be dry. And so if you like your cobbler a little runny, a little juicy, don't do too much crust. That's why I only do crust on the bottom and then I put crust on the top. So I've already cut some slices of crust. I'm just going to lay them across the top just like this. If you want to make it pretty and crisscross and all that little different designs, and please feel free to go ahead and make whatever designs you want. But I am going to just lay some crust on the top because it's still going to be good no matter what. I'm going to cut a few more pieces because I want to cover this up completely. I don't know, can you see that? Hopefully you can see it. That's it. So now we're going to bake it. Okay, so it's time to bake our peach cobbler. The oven is already preheated to 375. So we're going to put this cobbler in the oven. Okay, so we're gonna let that bake and we'll have some yummy peach cobbler. Okay, the peach cobbler is ready. So I'm gonna go ahead and take it out of the oven. Look at that, yum, it smells so good. Oh my goodness. Okay guys, my cobbler is done and it looks so delicious. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like and comment, and yes, let me go ahead and take a little bite of this peach cobbler. So delicious. But anyway, that's it for now. Thank you guys for watching. Bye-bye.